So with, we can talk about building new buildings to this zero or to LEED and to zero carbon standards, but what about the existing building stock that we have? Because this plays a critical role. So retrofit is critical. We can't build our way out of this climate crisis. So this slide kind of has a lot of dialogue on it, but this just kind of highlights what the roadmaps, initiatives that we can implement for retrofits that are recommended actions to get us to our 30% emission reduction targets. 1 minute, okay. I got a lot more to go through, so sorry. So I'll skim over this. Recommission buildings, undertake deep retrofits, add renewable energy, and fuel switching. So if we do all these, the goal or the estimates are that we'll get 51% carbon reduction. Kind of wanted to touch on this just for a second, that it used to be energy that we all focused on. Now it's kind of switched to carbon and why it's important. And these two buildings here basically show, they're both buildings in Montreal, or in Quebec, sorry. One is on natural gas, which is the one that's the 36 times more, and the other one is on electricity. So it just shows that the carbon emissions that come from different types of fuels do impact these things. So with energy efficiency, these both would look exactly the same, but with carbon emissions, they're quite different. So what is a zero carbon building? So we want to get to a zero carbon balance, which means basically we're not producing any more emissions than, or we're removing emissions that we're not producing. Adding renewable energy, we're increasing the energy efficiency of the envelope and the mechanical systems, and we're using low carbon materials. So part of the standard is calculating the embodied carbon that is in actually the materials that are used to build the buildings. The Canada Green Buildings Council did a cost study, or making the business case basically to zero carbon buildings before they kind of released a standard to make sure that this was something that was doable. And these were some of the numbers that kind of came out. So I just highlighted the 91% reduction in carbon achieved on-site, which means only 90% was kind of procured off-site through things like purchase of renewable energy credits, which is a path to get you there too. You just kind of do offsets and support renewable development elsewhere. So buildings not built to the zero carbon buildings will require major investments in retrofits of mechanical equipment, ventilation systems, and building envelopes by 2050 to meet these targets. Again, this is calling to action now. We need to start doing this now.